like the pine trees lining the winding road. I've got a name, I've got a name, like the singing bird and the croaking toad. I've got a name, I've got a name, and I carry it with me like my daddy did. But I'm living the dream that he kept here. Moving me down the highway, rolling me down the highway, moving ahead so life won't pass me by. Like a north wind whistling down the sky, I've got a song, I've got a song. Like the whippoorwill and the baby's cry, I've got a song, I've got a song. And I carry it with me and I sing it loud. If it gets me nowhere, I go there proud. Moving me down the highway, rolling me down the highway, moving ahead so life won't pass me by.
We are walking on this endless, frozen tundra. We are born freezing, naked, yearning for warmth. And as we are walking on this tundra, the wind is howling, our cheeks are red, we can't feel our fingers, we can barely feel our feet as we take the next step. The snow and wind is throwing itself at our faces, and yet we continue. We're not entirely sure what we're looking for. All we know is that we're looking for something. And then we see it. This glow in a faint glow coming from this blizzard. A cave, an opening. And then we see another one, and another one, and yet another one. Suddenly we realize this frozen tundra, where nothing seems to grow, is filled to the brim with life. It lies just over the horizon, just out of sight. We're squinting our eyes together and we can barely make out the entrance to the cave. So what do? We make our way towards the cave, of course. What else can we do? And on our way, we see hundreds, thousands, and as we get closer, millions of other cave openings. We get closer, we feel like we're about to pass out. And finally, we make it. We slowly make our way into the cave, and we see that the cave is filled with life, people, fire, warmth, everything that we thought we wanted. So we stay in the cave. Of course we stay in the cave. What else would we do? But time passes, as it usually does. And what are we left with? As time passes, we get to know the cave better and better and better. Each little corner of the cave, each little indent, each little blemish, color, all the minerals. We know this cave I like better than anything else in our life. And as time passes, we start to wonder, we start to remember all these other openings that we saw as we were wandering that desolate, frozen tundra. And we can't help it. Little by little, as days go by, we start to think more and more about these cave openings. Because we can't help it. And it's inevitable. We all know that it has to happen. Eventually, we make our way to the exit of the cave because we have to know. We just have to. It's not possible to live out the rest of our lives in this cave, never not knowing what was in these caves. Maybe more of the same, maybe a slight variation, or something that we couldn't even fathom existed. The only way to find out is leave this place of comfort and make our way into a place of pain again. Why? It's hard to let the past stay in the past, because we often think about the past as this, linear thing. We have the now, then we have the past and the future. But I think the past is right here with us all the time. We can't leave it behind. In every tear we shed, it's filled with the memories of a time no longer present. And those tears, they are right here, right now. They're real. So the past doesn't necessarily only belong in the past. It's here too, and it's in the future as well. And we have to make peace with that. And I really don't know how.
The more you start accepting it and walking with it hand by hand instead of carrying it on your shoulder, it feels relieving, more light. And I think that's how life should be light.
Yeah, that's so good. Thank you. Oh my god. Yeah.
I would tell you, don't let your past basically like define who you are, and we have to make peace with ourselves in order to have a happy future. And I think that like it is so easy to beat ourselves up, but like you're a great person.
For me, I'm at my age, and then so past is a past, right? I'm not hanging on to it. So what I do is I look forward, I plan for the future, and then life get more exciting, isn't it?
How you make plans
I make
to look
plans
forward.
for the future.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hang on to the past. The past has many, many fond memories, but that can sweeten your heart too. So you can just hang on to them.
Yeah. So, but do you think it's important to hang on to the bad ones too, or should we just cherry pick the good ones and keep them? Or
I think you learn from the past, right? You have to. We all, as we getting older, we experience so much in our life. So just learn from all our mistakes and then move on, but don't hang on to it. Yeah,
but
don't.
it's hard, right?
It's not that hard.
No.
I find nature helps. Just look at the nature. That's why I love to come to the nature, to look at how open it's, how wide, how beautiful, you know.
Yeah. Oh, it's when looking at the lake here. It's hard to think about the past. Like,
Yeah. Just look at how lovely
mm,
the nature, the world is.
yeah.
So don't worry about the past.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
Only learn from your mistakes. Learn from your mistakes, build up and look forward. Finish.
Very easy.
Very easy, my friend.
Yeah, okay. Well, okay. I think it's hard. I don't know. I think way too much about the past. But
You shouldn't.
no.
And the first thing you need to do is to change your lifestyle, to forget the past. You don't need to be closed in self. You need to open out yourself out,
Yeah.
make new friends, talk to everybody, visit different countries, cultures, different religions, different people. Then you forget the past.
I would go off of what he said, which is learn from them,
Mm-hmm.
and it builds your scars. It makes you who you are, and grow and learn and move forward from that with that perspective.
Mm-hmm. So do you think we should like carry our like scars with us, or because some people would say, oh, only think about the good times and like.
No, I think you have to. It's part of who you are. You learn from them, but it's part of who you are, and it's the perspective that you bring.
Yeah, I think it's a balance, right?
I wouldn't carry them with you like a burden, though.
No.
Not at all. Again, that's part of the learning process.
But it's a balance sometimes, right?
Sure.
Yeah. It is. What do you do with that?
Ooh, I, whenever something happens in life in general, then if it's something that really matters, then you do something with it, and it matters for the future. But otherwise, I would say the past is the past. I don't really think about it anymore. Just when it's really life changing or something that triggers me, or like if it's a leading indicator of changing my life in the future, then yes. So that's my answer.
Yeah, cool.
I think the past has made me me, which has set me up for future me. But I also don't want to think about the past too much because then I'll fall back. I think you learn from your past mistakes and your past successes to then kind of set you up for future success.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
but you can't be like, that's the weird part, right? Because you can't be your past self and the new self at the same time.
No,
So
but you
they-
learn
they,
from
like,
them.
start, they
Yeah,
start fighting, you know.
but you learn from your past self what you don't like, and you work to improve that to set up a better self for the future. I think. Yeah.
That's a good take.
Great.
Good take.
Yeah, I agree. I reckon the past makes you the person that you am, and it's part of your journey. And I try to learn from the negative and keep in mind the positive, and just keep it as nice memories and remember them in the future. Yeah.
Very nice. Guys, I appreciate it.
You answering the questions too?
My answer is never let go of the past. Keep it all. Like, yeah, this is why.
Have you spoken to a lot of people?
I feel like most of the people here are very healthy. They have a healthy mind. Yeah, not like me. But no, it's people are very nice. Yeah.
Should we try to go out? Yeah.
Okay.
On the first part of the journey, I was looking at all the life. There were plants and birds and rocks and things. There was sand and hills and rain. The first thing I met was a fly with a buzz and the sky with no clouds. The heat was hot and the ground was dry, but the air was full of sound. I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name because there ain't no one for to give you no pain. La 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 After 2 days in the desert sun, my skin began to turn red. After 3 days in the desert fun,
Well,
I was looking at a river.
I'm here in the mountains in Peru, and from the looks of it, it might look like I'm spending most of my time out here in nature. But my time here in Peru has honestly been comprised of me staying at hostels and being unable to like get out of bed. And yeah, I'm gonna talk a bit about why I'm struggling a bit with the past. I'm gonna read something for you from my journal about my my thoughts about the past. All right, here goes. The past tells us what to do, who to be, what to say, what to think. We project our past onto the future, and most of the time there isn't enough room in the future, so we have to let go to make room. And when we don't, we become stuck in this reality plagued by regret and melancholy, and yeah. And I've been thinking about what regret really is. And I think regret is love for the past. It's love for a past we didn't get to bring with us to the future. And I have so much love for the past. I have I have so much love for it that I don't know where to put it. Like my heart is already in full capacity, and I'm really struggling to find the space and make room in there for every new moment that comes my way. Because everything from the past, it has to go somewhere, like along with the new. If the past and the present don't go together, we lose ourselves. Yeah, I think we need the past to make sense. So we kind of have to fit the past, make it fit with all the new stuff we are experiencing. Because if it doesn't, like, we risk losing ourselves to like nihilism and like being apathetic towards our past and just feeling like, what's the point of everything that happened in my life? Was there any point to it at all? I feel like we really need we need to feel like there is a purpose to everything that happens to us. So that's why we have to carefully, we have to carefully integrate the past until with every like new moment that we experience. Like if yeah, it's not really a choice, we have to somehow. And I think it's really hard to be able to do that. Because I hang on to the past. I clutch it ever so tightly. And I'm scared of letting go. I don't know who I'll become and what life will be like. And that can be scary at times. Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
But I think it's bad to overthink the past and spend too much time regretting stuff. But I think it's good just to kind of learn from it.
Cool.
That's my
Okay, and
take.
have you ever in your life been in a position where you had to make like a hard choice and you feel like whatever you choose, you feel like you're gonna regret it, like because you want to do both, like
I don't know. I mean, to be honest, right now I really want to go to Brazil, and I've got like 3 months left. But I also want to go to Colombia. I feel like if I go to Colombia and spend too much time there, then I'm gonna have less time in Brazil. So I'll regret that. It's like a bit of a first world problem, to be honest. But yeah. Don't know. It's the only thing that comes to my mind.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, that's super valid
Yeah.
to feel that way, right? You say it's a first world problem, but if it's something we struggle with, it's something we fucking struggle with. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like,
It's not really a struggle, but it's one of those things where I think if I go to Colombia and spend too much time there, I'm going to regret that because I'll have less time in Brazil. And if I go straight to Brazil, I'll regret that because I wouldn't have gone to Colombia. It's just one of those things.
So that's the position you're in. Like, you feel like no matter what you do, there's gonna be like some degree of regret.
Yeah.
Yeah, with regret, I would say there's really nothing wrong with regret. But if you're someone who lives in regret chronically, maybe you're not challenging yourself enough in the present moment, or maybe you just don't have enough excitement in your life. And so I would say, if you do chronically live in regret, maybe just develop a routine that it's something to look forward to every day that you have in the morning or night, whatever it is. And then maybe you'll start enjoying the present moment and you won't live so much in the past, regretting what you didn't do. So, yeah.
When you say like develop a routine, are you talking about like now I'm gonna brush my teeth and now I'm gonna eat breakfast, or is it like what kind
Let's brush our teeth? Yeah. Maybe something like pick up an instrument or a hobby or just something that you've never done before, or maybe some type of exercise, something that really makes you find the joy in your life. But I don't know. It's not like regret is is opposite of joy. You can still live a joyful, happy life and still have regret. So I'm not saying this is a foolproof plan. It's just what comes to mind.
Yeah, I think those are good thoughts. And also like regret is something that you experience like in waves, right? You
Yeah.
can have a day where like I'm really like, because regret is more like it's like an emotion, right? And sometimes it's hard to know where to like fucking put it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think I struggle with that. Like,
Yeah.
But you would say just try to focus on the small things maybe, or
Maybe. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Small or big. Yeah. I guess so.
You know what's funny for me? Like I actually never experienced regret after the decision. For me,
Oh yeah. During.
I feel regret before. If does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Like because after the fact, there's nothing I can do anymore. I think regret comes from like the feeling of freedom. Like I am able to decide.
Yeah. That's an interesting thought. That's a great point. Yeah.
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 I don't know. Can you relate to that or?
Yeah. What came to mind when you said that was without you don't really know what awaits you in the decision making. You can live in almost like you can live in regret, like you're saying, before you make the decision. But then once you make the decision and go for it, you see what opportunity awaits you. And that's exciting. It's fulfilling.
Yeah. And then it's like when the option is taking away from you, it's like, well, I can't decide anymore. So it's like it's kind of like it's no crying over spilled milk, right?
Yeah.
I already spilled the milk. Like I can't take the milk back.
Yeah.
It's already on the floor.
Yeah. But I would say, I don't know. I'd say you're a special specimen if you don't have some type of regret in your life. I think it's a normal human thing to have regret. So I think everyone's got some type of regret.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
So we all have to like deal with regret to some degree, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it can be hard sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But maybe just get a nice routine going. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a nice way to think about it.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Yo, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
It's a thought. It's also kind of a mantra that I'm also using in phases when I'm doubting myself. And it's like, never question yourself, but only question your behavior. So because in our essence, we are perfect. We're perfectly where we are. It's just our behavior that's sometimes a little bit manipulating, sabotaging. And yeah, that would be my advice to really being aware of the past, that there might have been behavior that hasn't been the right, but in the essence, you're always right.
Oh, that's nice. So you think you should judge actions more than like characters of people, or is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because I believe like really in the essence, we are perfect. And not maybe judging, just to be the witness of that. And to see like, okay, is it resonating with me or is it not resonating with me? Did it hurt me? Like what effect that it had on me?
Oh, that's super sweet. Okay. Okay, I also have another question. And it's about like regret. So as I told you, like I'm flying to Mexico City tomorrow, but I've been wanting to see Machu Picchu, of course. So that was like a hard decision for me. So my question is, have you ever tried in your life, you have to make a decision, but you feel like no matter what you do, you're gonna regret it because you want to do both things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah?
Yeah, because FOMO was kicking in my past so often, hey? I was moving myself out of fear, not out of love. So, and if you want to question, like, how would I? Yeah? Okay, so to really feel like what makes me feel the most alive. And then to follow that. And to follow the love and not the fear. To really follow the love and whatever following the love means to you, because this is individual for everyone.
Oh, so it's kind of it's like you're essentially saying like listen to your heart or your stomach.
Yeah, and your aliveness, really aliveness, like like this tingling in your body, this like, oh yeah, there's something moving inside of me, and not like this that.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. I know aliveness. That's interesting. Like I want to ask about that. Like,
yeah.
What is it? I guess that's a big question, but like, what does it mean for you to be like alive or like feel alive? Like, what is that to you? Like.
So I feel alive when I can be easily in the present moment. So when I witness myself like hanging around in my thoughts, like thinking about the future, thinking about the past, I'm not feeling alive, because aliveness is only happening in the present moment, as well as our breath. It's like the beautiful anchor of the present moment. It's the only thing we have. So yeah, just like feeling into, okay, present am I right now?
But I think it's so hard. Like everything we do, like we have to take into account the past a little bit. You know?
It shapes us, hey?
Yeah. That's what's so hard. Like, because if we let go of it completely, we wouldn't like be a person anymore. So-
Or a new person, because the past can shape us, but the present also, because we can decide in the present moment. We can choose.
Yeah. Have you ever had any regret in your life?
You're too young for regret, aren't you?
Oh.
Well said.
Well said. I think that's actually the best thing I've heard all day.
That's the wrap.
Yeah. When you paint, you always have to start out with an empty canvas. And then you can slowly start filling out a corner, add some paint. And then you can just add a bit more paint. Look at your painting, and yeah, there's still so much empty space left. Your painting could still look like anything, but bit by bit, as you keep painting, you slowly start running out of empty space. And you start to think to yourself, so this is what my painting looks like. I guess if I add any new paint, it should fit in with the old paint, right? I mean, I want my painting to be beautiful, of course. And yeah, at some point, I'm gonna run out of empty space. And my painting can't be whatever I want it to be anymore. But what if I'm not happy with my painting? I guess what I'm wondering is it ever too late to paint some more?